Hello everybody. I have not uploaded to this channel in a while because I have been shadow banned. And I felt like, what is the point of uploading when nobody's going to watch? But something has happened in the last couple of years that has changed my opinion of that. For me. Now, nobody may actually see this, but for me, I need to explain what's going on. Because of what I think is going to happen happens, and I didn't speak out, I'm going to feel guilty. And I don't want that to happen. So I want to start this by telling you a little story. So a guy gets hit by a car by walking out in the street without looking both ways. He goes to the hospital. He recovers. 20 years later, he gets hit by a car again for walking out in the street and not looking both ways. What can we deduce from that story? You should look both ways when you're walking across the street. Now let me paint you another story. Our economy is in the crapper. And then a person comes in and does ABC things and the economy goes crazy. Then he leaves and the economy goes to crap. And 20 years later, another man comes in, does ABC things, and the economy goes crazy. Then he leaves and the economy goes to crap. What should we deduce? We should deduce that the two guys, whatever ABC things are, is what we should do. Now, let me back up and say a few things. Most of the people that are currently in the House and the Senate have been there for a long, long time. And the ones that were not there when Reagan was in office were alive. And they know exactly what happened. The reason Reagan won was because of Carter's economy. It sucked. Reagan came in and did ABC things, and the economy went crazy. The longest peacetime prosperity in this country ever under Reagan. He left office, and it took a while, but when Obama came into office, the economy went to crap. For 8 years, the economy went to crap. Trump came in and did ABC things, and the economy turned around and went right back up. He left office, and Biden came in, and again, it went right to crap. Now you got to ask yourself, what's the point? The people in Congress and the Senate, they all know that ABC works. They just don't want to do it. So you got to ask yourself, if they know what's going to make our economy great, why don't they do that? Well, because their goal is not, listen to me, not to make America great. Their goal is to destroy this country. Now, I know that sounds terrible, but I want you to think about a few things. When you think about the left's policy on things, it's very hard to justify. Why is it okay to send trillions of dollars to the Ukraine? Because Biden and his son Hunter got paid millions of dollars. Why is that okay? But it's not okay to build shelters here in this country for American veterans who are homeless. Why is that okay? Why is it okay to tell everybody that guns kill people and they want to put restrictions on guns because they kill people, and yet they push abortion, which kills people? Why is that okay? Both actions achieve the same goal. One they're for, one they're against. You got to ask yourself why. When you look at the overall policy of the left, it's very obvious. Now, am I saying that the rank and file people understand this? Absolutely not. I think most of the Democrats, rank and file, are 1, 2, or 3 issue people. And I think the Democrats hone in on that to get their votes. As an example, a lot of females are pro-choice or pro-abortion. So the Democrats hone in on that. I feel as a person who believes in the Constitution, there are certain unalienable rights that are given to us by God, not by Congress, not by the Senate, not by the President, and not by the Supreme Court. They are given to us by God. And there's a reason that they are given to us by God. When you deviate from God's will, nothing makes sense. And my classic example of that is gun control versus abortion. How do you rectify those two positions if you're a lefty? I have no clue. Neither one of them makes sense. They both achieve the same goal, but if you sandwich it in different verbiage, stupid people buy it. I'm not saying all Democrats are stupid. I'm just saying they haven't thought this through. The true goal of the far left is to destroy this country. Yeah, I said it. And if you don't believe me, look at each one of their platforms and ask yourself, and extend this out to the long term, not just the here and now, but at the long term. And ask yourself, what is the ultimate outcome of this position? As an example, let's talk about guns. If the left had their way, guns would be banned. They would be taken up. Now, let's think further out. If the guns were taken away from the American people, how would we protect ourselves from the government? We couldn't. Okay, let's talk about abortion. They want to have abortion on demand, anytime. Partial birth abortion, all the way back to conception. What's their goal for that? To reduce the population. Why would they want to reduce the population? The less people there are, the less people they have to worry about. Open borders. Every sovereign country in the world protects their borders except the United States under this administration. You got to ask yourself why. Because the left wants power more than it cares about this country. They don't give a shit about this country. All they want is power. In their viewpoint, the final solution for this country is there to be two classes, the ruling class and the servant class. The politicians will be the ruling class, and all the rest of Americans will be the service class. Now, for those of you that don't know history, I want you to educate yourself. That's what happened to Russia. That's what happened to China. That's what happened to Egypt in the times of the Bible and today. That's what's happening in Iran. That's what's happening in Iraq. That's what's happening in Jordan. That's what's happening in Venezuela. Venezuela was one of the second richest country on this continent until liberals got in there and the lefties and absolutely destroyed that country. That's what's happening here. It's just taking longer because we're bigger and more prosperous. But that's happening. If you look at the left, if you assume that the left's goal is to just destroy this country, look at any of their goals. I mean, any of their positions. Gun control, the border, foreign diplomacy, military power. Did you know that every time a Democrat comes into office, one of the first things they do is to cut the defense budget for military? Did you know that? That's a fact. And the reason they do that is to destroy our military. And the reason they do that is so we can't defend ourselves. As I sit here and talk to you in this video, China has many more battleships available and building on a feverish pitch. And the Congress in this country will not pass any bills to let us catch up. Even if they passed it today, it would take 5 to 10 years to catch up. So between now and the time they finally do pass it, if that ever happens, we're vulnerable for 5 to 10 years. The American people don't think about this. You need to take the left's policy and project it forward on every single one of their policy positions. Sending money to Ukraine. Why would they do that? Spending billions and billions of dollars on bullshit. Why would they do that? Because they want to destroy our economy. If we print too much cash, let's think this through. If we print all this cash and we send it all around the world and we give rebates to everybody and there's so much cash floating, what happens to the value of the money? It goes down. And when the value goes down, inflation goes up. And that's where we are right now. And this administration wants to spend another $1 trillion in this budget and send billions overseas. If their goal was truly the preservation of the United States, they would stop that crap. Keep the money here. Let's take care of our veterans. Let's take care of our nationals. Let's close the borders. Let's get rid of the illegals. If that's what if they truly wanted America to survive, that's what they would do. Let's end abortion. One of the key signs, again, because I was taught history when I was in school, one of the key indicators that a economy and a country is on the decline is the declining birth rates. Excuse me. The birth rates in this country are declining, and because the left is pushing abortion, you got to ask yourself, why? Now, one final thing before I wrap up. I want to address the fact of words. Words mean something, and the left has mastered this. Illegal people crossing the border illegally. They used to be called illegal aliens. Then they were called illegal immigrants. Then they were just called seekers. Ask yourself, why are they even given a word? Why aren't they called deported? Because the left is trying to normalize illegal immigration. And the key phrase there is illegal. It's illegal for a reason. Our borders and every country's borders are supposed to be sovereign. And if the left isn't enforcing that, you got to ask yourselves why. We've had 12 million illegal immigrants cross our border since this administration took office. And they're doing nothing. Now the governor of Texas has. And he's just about eliminated it. And I think it's great. This administration took him to court so they would stop that. You got to ask yourself why. The point of this video is I want you to start thinking critically and into the future. Why does a certain party have a certain policy? The other party, if you look at all of their policies, every single one of them, they all line up perfectly. There's no ambiguity. There's no double talk. There's no verbiage. It's very straightforward. The other party can't justify their positions on most issues. If the economy is going in the toilet, how do you justify sending billions of dollars to a foreign country? How do you if the country is having economic problems, how do you justify allowing illegal aliens to come across the border? My point is, whether you're on the right or on the left, I want you to think critically, and I want you to think long term about every single issue. And if you do that, and you keep 2 points of view in mind. One side is pro-Constitution, pro-America, pro-life, all of those. The other side is anti-country, anti-border, anti-economy. And if you look at every single aspect of their policies and those viewpoints, and you look at it through those glasses, you will wake up and you will understand thoroughly what's happening here. I wish and I hope and I pray for this country, because the spiral we are going on right now is right down the toilet.